Welcome back to TOK Today. Today's video is the second half of a series of lessons designed to build the skills for the TOK exhibition. The first video is in a card at the top of the screen, and if you're yet to see that, you can pop back, watch that lesson and download the free resources. Now, if you find the content of the channel useful, then a like, subscribe, comment or share are very much appreciated. The lesson resources for today's video are available free from the link in the video description. Today's lesson is specifically designed to help students to get higher marks on their TOK exhibition. It does that by developing the skills of revisiting the identification of the personal link to the object, constructing perspectives on the prompt, and then linking the objects to the prompt. Now, this is the slightly controversial alteration that we identified last year. It's an alteration to IB's recommendations. Rather than identify objects and then develop perspectives, the TOK team that I worked with found it easier for students to develop perspectives on the prompt and then to identify objects which exemplify those perspectives. We'll come back to this over and over in this video. I've also built into the process the use of TOK concepts as recommended in the May 2022 subject report. Now, let's get into the lesson process. So, I've written my own prompt, the same prompt as I used in the last video. Why does pre-existing knowledge change? You, of course, can write your own prompt or use one of the IB prompts. Obviously, in the real exhibition, the students must use one of the prompts given by IB. In the last lesson, students linked objects to the prompt and explained those links. Today, I want them to develop a perspective or argument relating to the prompt. Think of this as being one of the ways to answer the prompt. Our first aim is to get them to write 3 perspectives on the prompt. So here I've come up with 2 perspectives as examples for modelling. The first being that the pre-existing knowledge may change because the predictions made according to that knowledge have become less certain. The top concept here being certainty. The second being that the pre-existing knowledge may change because it was created at an earlier date and is no longer justifiable in modern culture. The top concept here being justification. I then gave students time to write their 3 perspectives on the prompt in groups, each perspective to include at least one TOK concept. We then moved on to identifying an object that demonstrated the perspective. Note again, we're writing the perspective and then identifying the object. This is a reversal of the orthodox order which came about after my first experience of teaching the exhibition. In that process, we identified objects and then tried to explain the link between the object and the prompt. Doing it in that order, we found that there was a lot of similarity in the links described for the 3 objects. This made it far harder for students to score in the higher mark bands for the criteria of justifying the contribution that each individual object makes to the exhibition. The students had to go back, write unique perspectives, and then select new objects. And we soon realised that we needed to reverse that process, hence the perspectives to object order that I outline here today. After that, we then go on and ask the students to explain the link between the object and the perspective. Now, at this point, I reintroduce the personalization of the object. Again, this may at first seem to be the wrong way round. Common sense tells us that it would be easier to start with the personal links and then work to the general. However, my experience is it's harder for the students to develop good knowledge arguments if we start with the personal. Students find it easier to move between themselves as knowers and the knowledge world if they've initially spent some time considering objects in the abstract. It just reduces the incidence of anecdotal description. Of course, your mileage may vary. The final step is to link the explanation of the object's link to the perspective back to the prompt. Lots of links, I know, but these steps are the operationalization of the criteria that reads justification of the particular contribution of that individual object to the exhibition. It's this criteria that students need to fulfill to be scoring 7 to 10 marks in the exhibition. Okay, that's it for now. So again, we're focused on skills, not content. We're focused on building thinking skills, not reading through long articles. Now, if you've managed to watch this far into the video, I thank you, and I hope this lesson is useful for your TOK teaching. Have a great day and stay talktastic. Bye.